Andrew, it seemed like you were pretty much doing whatever you wanted to do out there. Did it feel that way, and was there any indication maybe in the bullpen that you had that command of the strike zone today?
Bullpens almost never are a good indication of how the game's going to go. I felt okay in the bullpen, not the best I've ever felt, not horrible. And then the first inning kind of, was a little, gave up a hit to lead off the game. I think it went 0-2 to a walk on the 3-hole there. And then, gave up a run. So it just kind of was like, had to work out of that. So it's kind of, especially coming off of the, my first outing was sort of like, hey, I need to get something rolling here. And, getting out of that first inning, kind of limiting, to 1 run and just kind of moving forward. The guys, scoring some runs early too. That's just kind of, I think it all just kind of like started just going, it just sort of evolved.
Are you expending more energy in an outing like that than maybe at one that's not so dramatic as far as the number of strikeouts in a short period of time?
I'd say I'm always sort of trying to pitch the same, and I kind of know who I am. I know, like, I don't always get the easiest of outs. I don't have the shortest and quickest at bats, which is something I'm working on. But at the same time, like, I try to bring that same intensity to every at bat, every pitch, every inning. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of goes that way.
And then, how anxious were you to get out there for the second time? I know Jacob talked about dying to get back out there after his first one. How anxious and excited were you to get back out there?
Yeah, I was extremely ready to go. Obviously not at all how I draw up the first start here in Arlington, and felt like I owed it to the guys, owed it to fans, myself, to be better than what I was. That's not the pitcher that I wanted to be after my first one, and so there was definitely some extra incentive and kind of anxiety to just get out there and go. I mean, it's once you get out there and you start warming up before you go to the bullpen, like, that's, most guys will tell you that's when you feel the most calm and you feel the best, because you're in your element. It's everything leading up to the days, the hours, whatever leading up to that, where you start feeling, that pressure, the anxiety, whatever you want to call it. You just want to be let loose. So that's kind of how I was feeling today.
Anytime your name is mentioned with Nolan Ryan in a sentence, it's usually pretty good. You broke his consecutive strikeout record in a single game. How exciting is that for you to just hear?
I mean, it's obviously really cool. I don't think I need to say anything more about how great Nolan Ryan was. I mean, we all know that. Everybody knows that. So to, just like you said, just be mentioned with him is extremely humbling. It's an honor.
And you threw a lot of change-ups today. It was a very different question, but how are you feeling with that pitch? It felt like you looked like you really were, sliding with it.
Yeah, honestly I can't remember exactly how many I threw, but I mean, I was 102 on pretty much every guy today. I did not do a good job of getting ahead, so I put myself into a situation where I was kind of had my back against the wall a little bit with some of the fastballs and needed to throw a little bit more off-speed pitches and hitters counts to keep guys honest. Especially, I know how other teams know that I pitch, so there's always a little bit of that. But I definitely didn't put myself in a great position there. But I think this is actually my first time throwing to Jonah, and he was awesome back there. I mean, just very much like we were on the same page multiple times with with kind of how we wanted to attack guys. Had a good plan coming into the game, and just kind of started rolling from there.
Well, was there an adjustment you made from the last spring start and then your first start here to tonight?
Yeah, I think the last spring start and the first start of the season was just getting a little bit sort of like drifty down the mound, kind of flying open a little bit, trying to create power and leverage like too late, you know what I mean? I was already kind of too far gone, too far down the mountain. It made it just difficult, like stuff wasn't as sharp, it wasn't coming out as good, and then was just not going where I wanted it to go. I mean, that's obviously a big deal when you're pitching. So, you know, worked a lot on that this past time through, and had a really good bullpen in Chicago. Felt like got some things kind of lined out. Talked with Mike and Nate and a couple of other pitchers, just kind of about a couple things that I was feeling and thinking of, and so I felt good. I felt prepared. I don't, you know, it is a stark contrast between the first start and this one, so I can't sit here and say that, oh, I, you know, felt like I was gonna strike everybody out today or anything like that, but I definitely felt better about where I was and kind of how I was feeling.
Okay.
Beautiful.